highlight of Parashat Beshalach is the Shirat Hayam. After Bnei Yisrael crossed the Yam Suf, they sang together with Moshe, Az Yashir Moshe, and they sang the Shirat Hayam. How exactly did the Shirat Hayam work? What was the relationship between Moshe and the people in singing the Shira? So the Gemara in Sota, Daf Lamed, has a discussion amongst the Tanaim about this question. Rabbi Akiva said that Moshe would recite a line, and after each line, Bnei Yisrael would repeat Ashir la Hashem. They would repeat the same phrase over and over, sort of saying Amen to every phrase that Moshe added. A second answer is Rabbi Eliezer ben Osha Rabbi Yossi Aglili. He says that Moshe would say a line, and Bnei Yisrael would repeat that line after him. So they said the whole shir together, Moshe saying the line, and Bnei Yisrael repeating it. And Rabbi Nechemiah has the last opinion quoted in the Gemara. He says that Moshe started the Shira, and then after the first few words, all of Bnei Yisrael sang together with him, and Moshe and Bnei Yisrael sang the entire thing in unison. The Mechilta adds one more opinion about how the Shirat Hayam was sung. Eliezer ben Tadai says that Moshe would start a line, and Bnei Yisrael would repeat the first part of the line after Moshe, and then complete the line. So they would say the words without Moshe saying it in advance. So these are the four opinions in Tanaim about how Bnei Yisrael sang Shirat Hayam after Kriyas Yamsuf. Rabbi Sachs Zatzal connects these four opinions to four types of leaders, which are alluded to in the Gemara in Kedushin Lamed Bet. The Gemara debates what type of leader can be mochel on his kavod and which can't. And the Gemara assumes that there is a spectrum of kavod based on the personal relationship or lack thereof that the leader has with their followers. So the four cases are king, nasi, teacher, and father. Right? The king doesn't have such a personal relationship with the people in his nation. The nasi has a little bit more of a personal relationship. The Gemara there is talking about the nasi and the rabbis he works with. So it's a little more personal, but it's still professional. The teacher has more of a relationship. And lastly, the father obviously has the greatest relationship with his children. And in turn, the Gemara says that there are more opinions that say that the father can be mocha on his kavod, and as you go up the ladder in terms of less and less personal relationship, it's less and less permissible to be mocha on your kavod. So Rabbi Sachs, based on that Gemara, compares the different versions of what occurred at the Shirat Hayam to the different types of leader that Moshe might have been during the Shirat Hayam. How was Moshe acting in the Shirat Hayam? So to go through it, Rabbi Sachs argues Rabbi Akiva had said that Moshe sang and the people answered with the same phrase, Ashira, Ashira. And this is, Ashira la Hashem. So that is not so personal. That's really Moshe's doing the Shira. He's the leader. He's doing everything on his own. And the people are kind of saying Amen to every line. Following that, Rabbi Eliezer ben Osha Rabbi Yossi Aglili said that Moshe would say a line and the people would repeat that same line after him, which Rabbi Sachs says is much like the teacher and his students, right? That the teacher says something and the students repeat it in order to learn. We had Rabbi Nechemiah's opinion that Moshe started singing the lines, and then the people sang the rest of the shir together with Moshe, which is kind of like the nasi with the other rabbanim, his colleagues, singing together. And lastly, the Mechilta, the opinion and the Mechilta was that Moshe started the shira, and Bnei Yisrael completed it, which is like the father who sets up his child on the right path, gets him started, and then the children hopefully take things further than the father ever did. And I think that these paradigms of leadership, which Rabbi Sachs alludes to, come up in the remainder of our parsha. If you look through the events that occur after Kriyas Yamsuf and Shirat Hayam, we see that Moshe really is starting out his career as leader of the Jewish people, and he's practicing each of these forms of leadership, right? If we look at the episode right after Kriyas Yamsuf, we have the water in Mara. The water was too bitter, and in that case, Moshe davens to Hashem on behalf of the people. He's certainly their leader, but he doesn't interact with them personally before throwing the branch into the water. The Psukim don't tell us that he said anything to them. Hashem showed him the branch, he threw it into the water, and that sweetened it. So that's kind of like the king relationship, where he doesn't have such a personal involvement. He's just doing what needs to be done to lead the people. Then we have the story of man and the basar, also the food for the Jewish people, where we really see Moshe as a teacher in that case. Right? There's a lot of teaching about how to collect the man, back and forth about the people doing the right thing, not doing the right thing, and included in all of that is introduction to Shabbos, where Moshe has to teach the halachos of Shabbos and collecting man on Friday and not on Shabbos. So that's Moshe as teacher. Then we see Moshe as nasi when he has to hit the rock to get the water out. There, the pasuk tells us that Moshe hit the rock l'einei ziknei Yisrael, in front of the zikenim of Yisrael. But that's much like a nasi, who, as we said, does most of his work with his colleagues, right, in the Beis Medrash with other Talmidei Chachamim. But while Moshe was operating on behalf of Bnei Yisrael, he wasn't directly with them. So that is kind of that second level of leadership, where you're not so connected to the people. And lastly, in the end of the parsha, we see Moshe as father. Right, when Amalek attacks Bnei Yisrael, Moshe immediately jumps into action. Right, he appoints Yehoshua to lead the army without a conversation back and forth that we see with Hashem. And in that case, that's just Moshe's relationship with the people coming across. And he sets up the army with Yehoshua, and then he goes up on the mountain and raises his arms, even when his arms were heavy. V'yidei Moshe kavedim, he sits down on a rock and he holds his arms up to support Bnei Yisrael in their war. And so I think we see, based on Rabbi Sachs' idea of leadership in the Kriyas Yam Suf, we really see Moshe putting those paradigms into action in the rest of the parsha, where he's starting his career, getting ready to be the leader of the Bnei Yisrael for the rest of their journey, and he's practicing being king, nasi, teacher, and father.